Hi, it's me. I know it probably doesn't excite any of you as nearly as much as it does me, but it's Bible study time. All right, okay. Ugh. Sometimes I'm just really close to the camera, not on purpose, and so you got to play it off like it was on purpose. So, okay, we're in Acts. We made it to chapter 23. Gotta move my bookmark. Aha, okay. So, here we go, guys. Chapter 23, verse 1. Then Paul, looking earnestly at the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day. Whoa, that's deep. Can you say that? I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day. You know what I read this morning in our McShane Bible reading plan that all the cool people are doing, or Sarah, who's just 3 weeks behind but still trying. In chapter 11 of First Corinthians, verse 1, Paul says, "Imitate me, just as I also imitate Christ." So, can you say that? You know, it's okay. I decided Sarah's reply. So here's the deal: is it's not easy to be the Christians we want to be. It's not easy to live the way we know we ought to. But I'll tell you what, guys, it's super um, important that we realize where we're at. I think too many people are unaware of their life having any discrepancy with the Bible. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, if you know you fall short of the glory of God, you're in a great place. If you realize I have to grow, I'm not as hungry as I ought to be, you know, we don't want to get into a place of condemnation because that's where Satan will use that to stunt us and not push us to grow. But when you realize, like, no, like man, this is hard to live up to this stuff. But I'll tell you what, too, is when you better understand not just your shortcomings, but His amazing grace, God's, what He's done, the completed work of Christ. May I say that again? The completed, finished work of Christ. What did He finish? He finished everything you're not going to finish. Everywhere where you're going to fall short, His grace will abound. And when we start to understand that better, we actually can say, I've got a good conscience. Well, why do you have a good conscience? I have a good conscience because I realize what is sin, and I realize when I fall short, and I realize the completed work of Christ that makes up for anything that I couldn't do. I realize that He said it is finished, and it was never up to me in the first place. But again, you can go back and forth on this two-sided coin that I never want to sell myself short of what God could and would do through me. And so to say I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day, that's a tough thing to say, but it's something I think we should strive for, that, we can get to this place that I have so many seasons of that. I call them seasons because I have seasons where that's not the truth and that's not the case, where I can just say, I have a good conscience. But you know what's beautiful about conscience, right? Con, with, and science, knowledge. When you have the knowledge of what you need to work on, you can deal with those things. And one of the simplest ways to deal with them is to repent and trust in God's mercy and His grace and then move on. And so, if you haven't prayed this lately, let me challenge you to do so. God, is there anything in any way in which I am in rebellion to your perfect will? I know I'm weak. I know I'm foolish. I know that I'm not all I could be, but am I in any way in rebellion? Is there something that I know you've told me to surrender and I have not yet? Is there something you've told me to submit to and I'm not doing it? Because when you can pray that prayer and hear nothing, sometimes we want to hear God speak. I'll tell you what, that's a prayer where you don't want to hear God speak. You want to hear God be silent. You can have a peace that surpasses understanding and know, wow, I'm at peace with God and I have a clear conscience. I have peace with God. And now I can say, I'm living in a good conscience before God. Wow. I prayed it and God said something to me, and I went and I dealt with it. And then I prayed it again and God pointed something else out to me. So I went and I dealt with that. And then I prayed it again, and all of a sudden there was silence. As if, okay, like I'm not perfect. I got a long way to go, but I've got peace with God. And I've got a conscience that's good before God and before men. And then you start living a Christian life and a Christian walk where you, with confidence, can tell other believers, new believers, people who are trying to figure out their way in life, imitate me as I imitate Christ. I don't think any Christian should ever feel satisfied if they cannot say, imitate my Christian walk. Let me show you how it's done. So many of us are, well, I mean, no, I'm just, no, don't imitate me. And, we say it lightheartedly. And maybe it's just because we're actually ashamed. And so we maybe make it a joke, or we say it, like, oh, I'm not the Christian you want to follow. And it's like, well, then do something about it. Live a life and have a faith that's worth imitating, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to show this world who Jesus is. And so as we imitate him, we can then declare, imitate us. And so, yeah, maybe that's just our encouragement for today. One verse, that's pretty normal for us. But I'm thinking of us moving along. Pray, Lord, is there things that you desire me to surrender, submit to deal with? I need to cast it off. I need to throw it in the garbage. I need to go and I need to talk to this person and ask for their forgiveness because I have wronged them, and it's not truly made right until I go and I tell them I'm sorry, because I know you want me to do that. So if we can do those things and just continually make it our prayer to have our hearts be checked and then go deal with those things, we can have that clear conscience. We can go to bed at night thinking, wow, the almighty maker of heaven and earth, the Lord of all the universe, is at peace with me and I with him. And we can go to sleep having that blessed assurance, having the peace that surpasses understanding. I'll give a shout out one more time. If you didn't see my post yesterday, and you'd rather not have to go hunt through all of my posts, check out the Holy Club, created by the Wesley brothers and Whitfield and others. They had 22 questions that they would look upon and reflect on their walk. I walked away thinking maybe I was doing okay at one of them or two. So that gives you an idea. But I'll tell you what it does. It makes us reflect and look at our lives and evaluate, and then give us the opportunity to commit those shortcomings to the Lord, so that we can believe and have a belief in our hearts that his grace is sufficient and that he'll cover all this stuff up. And again, it was never about you. It's never about you being good. It's never about you being successful or skilled, but there's to a point where you need to be obedient. To obey is better than sacrifice, and the heed than the fat of rams. For rebellion is the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is idolatry, right? So this is the kind of stuff we need to obey the Lord. And so take the time, finish the live stream. Lord, am I rebelling against you in any way? And whatever he says, deal with it. And if he's silent, either you're doing really well or you just haven't read the Bible enough. Hopefully you're just doing really well. God bless you guys. Have an amazing day. Good morning to everyone, and thank you all for chiming in and just saying hi. I always appreciate to see who all's watching. And You guys take care. I'll close with one other thing too. I'm hoping real soon here I'll be able to do live streaming simultaneously on Facebook, not leaving here, but also YouTube at the same time and on the church app and stuff, so that those who aren't on Facebook can watch with us. But I'm going to keep Facebook going so that I can. This is where I'll be answering questions or just seeing all those who are chiming in. I'm seeing Estella and Tina and all you guys hopping in here. So, alrighty, you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. God bless. Ding.